Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All I Can Geek Gamecast, episode 453. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Hey.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yosh.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners, to 453 of the Gamecast. Whew. All right. Busy movie cast episode talking about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out this week, and we had a nice discussion on there. So tune into that. This week on
into space.
This week on our Gamecast, we'll be diving into some news here. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. There's actually some Overwatch news, which I was trying to get your reaction on, guys, soon. But we'll get into that in a minute. First, let's get into what we've been up to. For me, it's not been too much. I went to play my Switch and it was dead, unfortunately, so I didn't get to play that today.
The
battery was drained.
Okay, all right.
And then like
you don't just keep it on the charger, like
no, because I moved everything around and it's just sat in the case and I forgot it was in there. So I went to go play it today and I'm like, oh, this is dead. So I'm gonna get to play anything during my break. But I was trying to play Bloodstained a few times and I've had this weird glitch showing up. I don't know if it's part of the game or it's I think it's my PlayStation. This is the problem. To the point where the screen is flickering a lot. I don't think it's the game though, because I don't know, it's cutting out the sound and like the picture will go black for a minute. So I don't know, it could be the game because I guess there's some technical issues with this game that I know the Switch owners are probably quite upset about, but which we'll get into, but I don't know. So I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to. I went and just started killing mobs because I was running into that problem with the samurai. And I actually was killing a bunch and leveled up, and I just went back to the church to level up weapons and kind of prep to go fight him. So I wonder how I'm going to actually do tomorrow with him.
Wait, did you get which version did you get?
I got the PS4.
Oh, okay.
He showed us.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, like I'm happy I got that version, but I know that I would like to play this on the go wherever I'm at. So it's like that's the positives and negatives here. It's just like I don't know. The Switch version is not running great, right? It's really clunky.
Yeah, it's honestly one of my biggest disappointments with the game. Unfortunately, because knowing what I do now, I probably would have switched to.
You would have switched.
Yeah, PC or something like that. Because first of all, just to have the frame rate, I was like, really? I know it's an Unreal 4 game, but I mean, when you have games like Hollow Knight and other similar indie titles that have no problem hitting those benchmarks, it's like, why is this struggling so much? And then not only that, but there's other technical issues, like the loading is worse, even though it's on a cartridge. And I'm just like, so I think a lot of the problems are optimization. And I have a feeling that the company that they outsourced the Switch version to they didn't either give them enough money or enough time, maybe both.
I'm guessing not enough time
to do it properly. Right. Yeah. And they've sent out I think 3 emails saying that we are going to work on the Switch version to make it what we consider, worthy for our audience, and we apologize. And I'm just like, okay, look, I get it, but it's one of those things where. So I'll just tie it in. I beat the game.
Okay.
I'm happy with it. Overall, the game is fantastic. But it's one of the things where, even though there's still stuff for me to do, I'm probably holding off until that.
So you get it patched. Right. So I've heard some of the frame rates are under 10 on the Switch for boss fights. Is that true?
There's probably 2 boss fights I can think of where it struggles. But in terms of performance, it's actually pretty solid. I would say it's the most consistent version that's not PC. And if you actually, I think Digital Foundry did a video with it where it's 30, 99.9% of the time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, the one boss I'm thinking of, I know for a fact it struggles. It struggles on every single system. Even PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. So it's just, I think they couldn't optimize it enough in time. So I think that'll get patched for all of them and stuff like that. But it's just one of the things where the one thing that's actually killing is the input lag, where you press the button and it doesn't happen
for a game like this, especially.
That's the thing that bothers me more, because I got used to it, obviously, because once you play it enough, you're like, okay, I get it now. But at first, it was really jarring. I was like, that's weird, stuff like that. So, game is fantastic. Switch owners, if you haven't already gotten it, I would honestly just wait for a patch, or if you have PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, you can get it on those systems. But actually, even the base PS4 and base Xbox One performed pretty poorly actually.
Yeah.
By comparison, so it's just like again, it's just unfortunate.
It's a bad optimized game then.
Yeah, poorly
optimized. I mean, they've patched it 3 times already on the PlayStation 4. I've gotten 3 patches for it. So the latest one, I thought it didn't fix the glitch I've had, but I mean, I'm not too far in the game, so I haven't seen a lot of these boss slowdowns. But I'm enjoying what I have. I'm not great at the game, but I know that now that I know that it's a numbers game of just leveling up those numbers.
Did you beat that boss then or no?
No, I'm going back. I should be able to beat him. I think I leveled up. Like I sat around just killing mobs for a while, and I just went back to the church to just get the ranged weapons. I was reading online that the ranged glyph you get, the archer thing you get, is really good against them. So I have that. I just want to go level that up and
that's one of the fun things I love about this game and this genre in particular, is because there's so many skills and abilities where it's almost too much at point, because just flat out, like I would say 75% of them I never even equipped to use them. I was just like I found like a move set that I liked, because it's like there's a close spell, there's a ranged spell, and everything in between. I'm like, I'm good with this. I enjoy my setup. And I rarely ever switch it up. But then I see these other people, like speedrunners or just people streaming, and they'll have a loadout. I'm like, wow, that looks really good too. Like, I kind of wish I did that. And it just rewards your own play style. Like, you just have so many different options.
Right.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I decided to wait until it got patched
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There's no rush.
I think that's probably a good idea. I mean, I'm gonna keep playing this for a while. My next game I'm gonna get is Ultimate Alliance 3. So
only a few more weeks. No, 2 weeks.
Yeah. My goal is to get this game done, and I want to just try to get a lot through Cuphead more on the Switch. So
they delayed the DLC.
I saw that till 2020, and that's fine.
Delicious DL.
I forget what it's called. Yeah, I just saw it.
Something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like initials are DLC, right?
Yes.
Delicious Last Course.
Yeah, Delicious Last Course. So
I don't know. There's a bunch that I want to play on the Switch, but for like the main consoles, like it was funny because this is the first time I've turned on my PS4 since Spider-Man.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, because I've been playing my Xbox most of it, and then it's then the Switch, and then I went to go play this. I had to update my PS4. So it took me a while to get this thing running, but
yeah, Bloodstained. I think if you could probably beat it within 15 hours. I think it's around.
That's what I've heard. Okay.
So
I'll buzz through it. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for me. I mean, Tony, you played Bloodstained. Anything else?
Mario Maker 2 came out. So I tried a little bit of that.
Yes. Is there like a single player game for that?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of there's like a story mode, and it's kind of ridiculous because like I don't know why the premise, but like they're like, oh, we just rebuilt Peach's castle from like, I don't know, maybe the last time Bowser kidnapped her or whatever like that. And they rebuild it, and then something happens and it gets destroyed again. They're like, oh shit, like what do? We ran out of our budget. Like we don't have coins to fund this anymore. Like what are you gonna do? And they're just like, oh Mario, like we have these contracts to like do these certain things. Can you do that to earn money so we can rebuild the castle? So it's just really dumb. Like, and most of the courses are just like the objectives are just like, oh, beat this level. But like sometimes it's like you have to do this within the level. And you're like, wait, what? Really? It's like, okay. But there's a single player mode, story mode. But even so, because I don't plan on designing too many levels. I say that now, but you can download so many levels. And the really cool thing is, kind of like in the first one, a lot of really well-known indie developers are making their own levels and stuff like that. So like the main guy from Celeste, Matt, or I forget. Yeah, Matt Makes Games or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's made a bunch of levels and they're fucking ridiculously hard. I'm like, holy shit, yep, I could definitely see the Celeste influence here. I think somebody actually even remade the first level of Celeste in Mario Maker.
Really?
Wow. So it just gets really crazy, and I'm just like,
somebody made Mario Maker in dreams.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
So it's really fun. It's Mario Maker. Like,
cool.
It's really just cool switching between the different styles. You're just like, oh, cool. And like, just the different engines. You're like, wait, this is a Mario world. And you have to think, it's like, okay, I could carry blocks in this one and do.
That's right.
Whatnot. So.
Yeah, there's capes and flying and different different flying methods. You can do the dive bomb thing, and yeah, Super Mario World. And oh man, there's it is all different playstyles. Yeah. So, and then cool. And then the first one's all timing based. The regular Super Mario Brothers. Cool. Mike.
I haven't really had much new to play. I play more Mortal Kombat and some Rocket League again. They're doing their 80s radical summer thing right now in Rocket League, so you can get the Ecto one and a bunch of Ghostbusters or ET themed things right now. So it's pretty cool if you want to check that stuff out. But nothing new really. So that's it.
All right. Corey.
Actually, just been playing a lot of board games. Haven't played much video games this week.
All right. Anything good?
A couple stuff that's solo stuff.
I was gonna say you have a lot of solo stuff for that, or okay?
Yeah, there's most of the games I buy now. I look for if it has a solo mode or not. So there's one called Deck Box Dungeon, which is basically a deck box size game. So it's super tiny, and then just got cards and dice and a little meeple that you can move, and you create a dungeon. There's an app for it which plays music, which is pretty funny, and you can click on it, tells you what card you have. 15 double-sided cards that create different rooms, and then you have dice that represent monsters. It's actually a pretty neat game for a solo micro style game that you can kind of travel around with. So it was pretty neat, little dungeon crawl thing.
That's cool. All right. Let's get into the news. We had Shenmue. Let's just kick it off with Shenmue. Last week we had our topic on Kickstarter, and now we have more follow up from the Shenmue. I got the long backer email this morning about this.
Oh boy, fun.
Yeah. So it was there. It is project update number 104.
Woo.
So basically, in summary, they have agreed their publisher partnership with obviously they've admitted full on that they've gotten tons of money from this company to make the game what it is today, and so their partnership's not going anywhere, but they are going to be offering options to PC people, PC owners that if they don't want to get it, they have two options. They could do Game Store, Epic Game Store, a physical copy, which is just a Game Store installer, or they can just get it digitally, a Game Store key. They're not going to get rid of that, or they can wait a year and get it on Steam via key. It will be on Epic Store for a year for exclusive.
Yeah.
Or if they're really upset, they can get their money back. They're actually offering a refund.
They can get it on PS4.
Or they can get it on PS4. They can change their version, yes. Or they can get their money back.
There's a lot of options.
Giving them options.
In all honesty, if you don't get your key for a year, that's Kickstarter for you. I mean, if you really want it on Steam,
so you can wait a year and get it, or you can get it on PS4, or you can get the Epic Game Store. If you don't want to do any of that, you just get your money back, minus the extra bonuses that they can't refund your money for. Like the stuff you paid for that may not be part of, even it's content, not content, but merchandise, stuff like that. So they may not be able to get all their money back, but they are offering it, which is very nice of them. It was a very long email. They even went into stretch goals about how they had to change their scope of stretch goals. They reached a lot of them, and then they still didn't implement those in the game. Instead, they implemented others that made sense for the game more.
Hold on. There's only one feature that they didn't implement. That was a stretch goal.
Yes,
but
that's right.
In exchange, I think they did between 8 and 10 that were not reached.
They incorporated a whole this game picks up right after Shenmue 2, which is awesome, and they have a whole cinematic intro now that they've done because of this.
Right.
This money that they got from Deep Deep Series.
Deep Silver is the
Deep
publisher.
Silver. Yeah, so I mean they went into like I said, there was
controversy.
The only stretch goal they could not implement was character perspective system.
Yeah, and from what I don't really follow this game, but from what I read, most people didn't care for it anyway because it's it's like you play as the other characters. And it's kind of like that feeling in Spider-Man where it's like, oh, I play as Miles or MJ, and it's like I just want to play as Spider-Man, or Peter. It's just like
I'm fine with it. To be honest with you. So I mean, they have a skill tree system now implemented instead.
Right. But the thing is, I just want people to shut the fuck up about this now because
Please.
It's like now you're finally getting a refund. And by the way, it's not even Deep Silver refunding; it's Epic Games because on that level, they're like, we feel bad, this and the other thing, so we're refunding it. And they even said in the future, moving forward, when/if this happens again, when it happens again, they're going to work with all the parties that they can to make sure that if you kickstarted a version that's like says you will get a Steam code to make that available. Like again, even if it's just like, yep, like this game is only available
unless you're a Kickstarter backer.
Yes,
right, backer for 1 year. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only exception, which is fine.
That's fine.
But I just want people to shut the fuck up about it because, like, honestly, I'm just so tired of it. And, like, you know, honestly, this is another thing that I think we should cover in another topic. But, like, entitlement culture, I swear to God, it's, like, a real big thing in 2019. Just a side note real quick is the Pokemon new games, Sword and Shield, are confirmed now to not have...
Oh, that's the other bit of news I have, yeah.
Yeah, not have all the Pokemon that have ever been put in a game. Which is like, I think, over 800 or some shit.
I was like, I didn't even know this was the thing. I didn't know you could actually take your Pokedex from these last few games, from game to game, and keep your Pokemon. Who wants to do that?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's an appeal because, like, I think, I actually think I could, if I really wanted to spend the time, I could get Pokemon off my original Game Boy cartridge and get it all the way up to, like... So
you can take, like, Mewtwo from that, the first, like, red and blue?
Yeah. You could transfer it from Game Boy to Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance to DS, DS to 3DS.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, there's an appeal behind that.
Gotta catch them all.
But and you will be able to do that. The exception is not all the Pokemon are going to be in Sword and Shield. So if one of your favorites, like mine is Charizard. Charizard confirmed to be in this game. So I could get my Charizard from my original red cartridge and get it all the way up to here. That's no problem. But let's say like Blastoise isn't in Sword and Shield, you're out of luck. You can't get him in that game.
No Squirtle?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing.
Oh man, there's no Squirtle. Oh, that's
no. I'm just hypothetical.
Yeah.
I didn't say that's actually. I'm just using a hypothetical.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong. Like I can understand the disappointment and the feelings that people have about that, but people are just so up in arms about it, like to the point where like they're not even constructively criticizing. It's just like fuck Game Freak, fuck the director. He should get fired. He should quit over this. Lazy developers, blah, 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 this, that, and the other shit. I'm just like, take a step back and look at how you're behaving in reaction to this. Like, you don't own the game. You don't. You don't own the series. You don't own any of that shit. Like, you are a consumer. At the end of the day, you're the consumer. And the only power that you have is, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, vote with your wallet. To the point where, like, look.
Well, it's like the same thing, like, when Destiny 2 came out. People were fucking up in arms because they couldn't get their guns from, like,
I remember talking about that here. Yeah.
It's a new game, It's a different thing. You want things to improve. Sometimes you have to leave things behind.
There's reasons, though, with the wordings of some of the promotion for both those games that led to this. When you get Destiny and you hear it's like a 10-year game, then you expect your stuff to carry over. And when Pokemon, that's the problem. People interpret things that aren't there. It's not a 10-year game. It's a 10-year plan. There's a difference between that. Like, people start implying things that aren't there. And then in Pokemon, that part of the big selling point is they tell you have to catch them all. Like, and to do that, going forward, you want to have like all of the numbered.
They don't even use that slogan. Like that was a purely North American thing to market.
And it's like per game, catch them all per game. Like you don't have to catch them all.
I understand that, but if they're gonna have that feature, then
like are people?
It's not a feature. It's not a feature.
But are people really gonna go back to like Red and Blue and try to catch them all there, and then go to the next set and like.
The thing is, I think what some people want are their stats to transfer, and that should be the case.
They literally want their Pokemon that they raised.
No,
whatever
it's a new game, man.
Then forget it. Then forget these people.
Yeah, and like I said, don't get me wrong. I understand the feeling of disappointment, because up until now, this was just kind of like a unspoken understanding that you'll be able to get all your Pokemon stuff like that. But people don't realize that this is back when Pokemon were sprite based, and you could easily just continue building upon that. And it's not the days anymore. It's high definition graphics, animations, out the wazoo and stuff like that. It's just not as easy.
Brand new engine.
Right, brand new engine. The list goes on and on. But the other thing is too is like me, like personally. Yeah, I probably, out of all the Pokemon I've ever caught in my life, which is hundreds, and I've never caught them all in any game, but like I have a core of like probably like 10 to 20 Pokemon I ever use, and like that's it. Like again, just speaking with like Bloodstain, like there's shit like I catch it and it just goes in my box and it just stays in the box and it just like check marks the little thing like, oh, you caught this guy, like cool, like awesome, that's it. Yeah, you stay in the fucking box like that.
Yeah, you
like,
never I remember that
in the box.
I remember that 100%. Yeah.
So like when people are like so out, and it's not even just like a vocal minority, it's just like a mob mentality online where I'm just like, there can't really be this many people that are so genuinely like emblazoned to just.
Well, I mean, you saw the Central Park Pokemon Go videos. I mean,
oh God, I know, but like
you have to expect it.
That's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And again, like I'm not telling you how you can or can't feel, but the way you react to it and the way that
the way
they criticize people.
It's like
they're like, oh, well, he doesn't care about like this guy was fucking hospitalized working on the third whatever the third series was because he was working himself like to like 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks just to so this game could meet the deadlines and stuff like that. I'm like, how the fuck can you like be a consumer of this series, love it for like decades, and then on that same hand be like, fuck this guy, he's lazy? It's just like, really? Like, what kind of fan are you? That's like super shitty. And you know what? Honestly, I hope those people don't buy the game because I don't want that type of person in my fan base at all. Like, just
this is going to bring us new Pokemon. There's new Pokemon in every game, but this has got new Pokemon, and I'm fine with this.
That's the thing that happens. Is like I buy new games for new content.
Yes.
So it's like I don't buy a new game just to see my old Pokemon. Like, it's
exactly.
I don't.
I got you there. Yeah, I mean, how about just transfer the Pokedex information like you've caught them before in your past? How about that?
Yeah, and that's fine. I'd be happy with that.
I think that would be acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that. Like, I don't care.
But now you
game, so I'm.
It sounds to me like that. That's not what people want here. If they would give you I could see them giving you the option to transfer your data. Like you're not your Pokemon, but the stat. Yeah. Like they're the caught amount. Like if you've been a part of this since Red and Blue, you should be able to do the whole Pokedex. It's only a data. It's only like a text line thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is the first high definition mainline Pokemon game. I'm sure that they will do this again, maybe with the next one or whatever. Because I can't imagine this was an easy decision for them to make. Be like, just fuck all these fans, whatever. They're entitled. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like they were probably like,
when we get Green Gun, well, maybe we'll get the rest of the Pokemon.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Pokemon Green Gun. No, exactly. That's my goal right there.
All right. We also have news from Remedy. They got back the rights for Alan Wake from Microsoft.
Good for them.
Yeah. So what does this mean for us? We get a new Alan Wake game?
Hopefully.
No.
And
I remember I never played it. I think I have somebody's copy, to be honest. I think I might have. Yeah. I forget. I think I have somebody's copy like in my storage.
I know I bought it on Steam for like $2.
But I hear nothing but good things about it.
Oh yeah, that's all I've ever heard. I've never played it either, but that's another good example of this IP that Microsoft had the rights to and just and they weren't using
fuck all with it.
Yeah.
Like
how do you and they just let it lapse and not lapse but give it back to them. I guess they're not going to. They had no plans going forward now even. So speaking of IPs, Sony is actually now considering more studio acquisitions for its PS5. So they're looking into what Microsoft's doing and buying studios.
Yeah, well, so that's one part, and I think we could talk about that as another topic in the future. I hope we can remember this afterwards. But there's also a thing, and it might have been part of the same interview where they said that who was it? I forget. They said if it was Sony themselves or other developers that went anonymously said that Sony's courting like AAA, like really like that's what they're aiming for right now is like AAA, like big bad exclusives, that kind of stuff. Which I get it because that's what sells in the West. But
they've had such huge success with Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon.
Yeah, exactly. But
Last of Us.
Part of me is concerned that they're going to repeat mistakes that were made this generation by Microsoft because if you remember. 360, Microsoft was all about the indies. Xbox Live.
It's a cycle. That's what happened.
Right. I know, right? It's like a hubris cycle.
PS2 is like you're on top of the world. Xbox 360 throws you down. Xbox 360 on top of the world, and then PS4 is like, well, we can trade games and borrow each other's discs.
Yeah, and I remember because PS4 came out and they deliberately showed a lot of the indie games that first first or two E3s.
Yeah,
like,
they brought indie devs out on the stage. And
yeah, exactly. And now, all the news is like Sony doesn't care about us anymore. Even the developer that made Resogun, I forget their name, they just did an interview. Yeah, where they're like, we just need to make exclusive deals. It's unfortunate, but like exclusive deals, either allow a certain number of sales or just a straight up cash influx, where we could be profitable and continue making games, because a lot of these games just aren't being made anymore and stuff like that. And it's just kind of disheartening to see if Sony reverts back to that, because like you said, Corey, it's just like a cycle. It's sort of like, oh cool, like we're all pro consumer. This is how you lend a game to a friend. Just give them the disc. Oh yeah, indies. We love indies. Here's Resogun. Here's Rocket League at the time and all that stuff. And like now it's like 5 years later, it's like fuck indies, AAA all the way. It's like, oh, okay.
It is like mistakes. The mistakes of the past are like just repeated over and over again.
Yeah,
the wheel.
Wheel of time. The wheel of time.
Yeah, and just again, just like a sub bullet point here. But Bloodstain is supposed to aim to that Symphony of the Night fan, the Castlevania Symphony of the Night fan. And so far, the only sales that we have gotten so far are from the UK, because they're the only ones that report weekly, I think, or something like that. And if you remember, it launched on PS4 and Xbox One a week ahead of the Switch version.
Yeah, really.
There. And in the first week of the Switch release, it outsold PS4 and Xbox both weeks combined. So it's just like, that's ridiculous, because the Switch fan is certainly different, but like that drastic of a difference, like it's like really surprising. So just I'm cautious. Cautious.
Let's see. We have.
I mean, honestly, I'm much more excited for the Xbox system that comes out next than I am for PS4.
Oh wow! I did not expect you to say that, Corey. That's interesting.
Jim mentioned earlier he hasn't turned on his PlayStation forever. I think I haven't turned it on in like this year.
Wow.
The last time I played it was the Spider-Man, which was April.
So that's the thing though about that I worry about is we know that there's some top flight exclusives coming for PS5, and I don't know if we can say the same for the next Xbox. So that's why it's.
Well, I think the ones that we know of are going to be on PS4.
Yeah. So I agree.
So they exist, or we know they will exist.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I'm going to be able to play on PS4. I fully believe that.
We know we'll get another Spider-Man. We'll get another Horizon. We'll get another Last of Us. I mean, that's the thing. And if they're sort of like all things considered functionally the same as I kind of view the two systems now, then it's hard to deny that exclusive.
It is really Game Pass. Like Game Pass is huge right now, and I think that Xbox and Microsoft are going in the right direction with that.
They have that subscription service, which we're going to get into. Stadia has more details of that too, but I think that is going to be the big thing for Microsoft. If they can just go completely which they are doing, all in on that. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The exclusive thing, you're right, Mike. The games are there, like the Horizon, God of War now. For me, God of War was there before, but not for me. But now it is.
Yeah.
You have.
I would. It's not a question of whether those games are being made. I absolutely believe.
Right. You have to 100% assume.
It's a question of when, though, because that's the thing. Is again, my biggest criticism of this generation, at least in terms of PS4 and Xbox to a lesser degree, but to the same degree in a different way.
Not more. Like, they just kill them. They don't actually make them.
Yeah, where it's like PS4. Like it took 3 years for these games to like come out. Where just like, that first year I played like Resogun. I played Rocket League, Dying Light, Dragon Age, because I was like, well, I'll give them another chance. Yeah, exactly. What else?
That's the thing is like, I don't see this generation coming up. I don't see the need to upgrade a PlayStation. If I'm going to upgrade at all, it's probably going to be the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We have other news. Like I said, we had the Stadia announcement from Phil Harrison.
I almost pulled the trigger during E3 on that thing, and I was like, "Wait, I'm getting flashes of the Wii right now."
Corey, thank you for saying that, because, like, I swear to God, if you said that, I would have been like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I literally would have been like, "Dude, what are you doing right now?"
Yeah. No, I mean, I was like, "Wait, what?" No, I was like, "Oh, this. I mean, did the Founders thing. It was cool and blah blah." I got Destiny on there, and Borderlands 3 is going to be on there apparently, like to circumvent the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait, what? what the hell am I doing?
The pricing,
like shades of Ouya right now.
I mean, the pricing. Yeah, I know. The pricing is it $9.99 for Pro, or is it $14.99? It's $9.99, right? A month is what their Stadia price.
I didn't even look at. Yeah, I don't know actually.
So, of course, now you have to pay that on top of buying your game still. So that's
you need to pay for the service, and you got to pay for the games, and then you got to pay. What was it? I think
the DLC
for the hardware, which is the controller.
Yes, the controller. So all you're getting for $10 a month is the streaming service, which is fine for some people. But I think the sheer statement of why would these games cost less from Phil Harrison, I thought was ridiculous, because you're also dealing with unowned physical. I know it's completely different even from a digital code, because you can't download these games. These are being streamed to you. So this is completely different. And so like
there's no internet, no game.
Yeah, $60 for this thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing where like I just can't see how with this price amount. And that's what one of my concerns was. Like, imagine paying $60 for a game license that, it's streaming only. You can't download it locally to your computer. Like, it's just in the cloud. Like, fuck, I just can't.
I mean, he did come out and say that any games you buy, you will always have access to, even if they leave the store. That I know, and that's questionable.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. But
I don't believe it.
Yeah. So
or you'll get like, those Tony Hawk games with like suddenly the music changes.
That's the thing. Well, that's what I mean. Like that's what I was saying. Like when it comes to licenses and stuff, and the license expires, and they don't decide to renew licenses, like that's why you don't get game. Like that's why games go away, and that's why you can't get them later on.
Well, that's what he said. They may leave the store from licensing reasons, and that happens. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a perfect example. But they said if you bought the game, you'll still be able to access it at any time on Stadia. The thing I have a problem with is like it's just Google's track record for me. It's just not there. I mean, even this thing we're talking on right now is leaving and changing into a new format in a month. And I just got the notification it happens in August. So we have to change what we're doing. We just started using this thing. So it's like, and it's not like it's been around that long before we started using it. They seem to move on to new ideas very fast. So like the protection for your product, it's just not there in my mind, from Google. Like I don't see any protection from that. They've never like proven that they will do this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm much more hesitant on
PS Now
this than I am on the xCloud.
There's the xCloud, which we had Phil Spencer talking about that, where he sees it being a hand-in-hand thing. Like you'll have your home console, so you're not going to be streaming while you're at home, but on the go, maybe you want to stream, or like they have that plan. Stadia is straight streaming, and their plan is that the ISPs are going to change for us to allow it.
I laughed at that. I was like, okay,
yeah,
at that one.
I don't understand that. That's what Google's banking on.
Dude, we still live in an era where like you can't get more than 5 megs down. Like in some places, it's not possible.
And their data caps. I mean, the data caps are at 1 terabyte will get chewed up in 60 hours of gameplay. Is it even 60? I forget what that's just gaming. That's just gaming. Forget about streaming movies and stuff at home. So, I mean, I looked at my usage last month. I was 1.2 terabytes. I'm just
holy shit, dude.
Yeah, we stream constantly here. I mean, we hardly watch live TV. We only have a box because it's free. And so like everything we do here is streaming. I mean, every one of us. And in fact, the problem, a lot of it is right now my TV is probably accidentally still streaming behind me, even though the TV's off. The box doesn't shut off, so it just keeps running. It just, Hulu will just go to episode to episode.
I was over a terabyte last month. I was at a terabyte.
I was 1.2
months in a row. Yeah.
I'm always around a terabyte. I was like 1.2 last month, which means I'm over
1 terabyte, 53 gigs.
And that's without gaming. So it's just, it's crazy. Their plan it doesn't seem full. It doesn't seem ready. Like it doesn't seem foolproof. It's a reactionary plan. Like we're going to hope that the ISPs change for this to help. And I just can't see this being successful. And then people who spend $60 on these games are going to lose this. That's the problem. So,
I don't know. It's starting to sound less and less appealing. And,
yeah. I mean, like I said, the xCloud service sounds like PS Now does the whole thing as well for streaming. But you don't pay for the games on PS Now. You pay just for that service, right?
No,
I'm not sure.
I forget how that works. Okay, I know that on Game Pass, it's just you pay for the rent. And
at the time too, with people were pissed off at how expensive the games were on PS Now.
Yeah,
and there's like $10 for stuff.
Yeah, the other thing that concerns me is in terms of companies, Google does not have a good track record for keeping things afloat that do not succeed.
I know that's the problem. So
so it's just like my faith not too high on this.
All right. Lastly, on the news, we have the Overwatch League changing the meta. Can you guys explain what this is? Did you read any of this?
Oh, well, I mean, this is something that had to happen.
Yeah, I know that Tony was complaining about this for a while, and is this what you're asking about changing?
Everybody was complaining about it.
Okay.
Overwatch League was so much fun last year. Like, it was so much fun to watch because there was always always a huge moment, a big play, where skill mattered. Like the player's skill, like someone just got outskilled. Like you just saw how much of a higher level play there was. And there's a reason these people are in the Overwatch League. They're pros.
Yeah.
This season, it's like everybody's doing the same exact thing. It didn't matter, if you were a great tracer or if you're a great Widowmaker. It didn't matter because you weren't doing that.
You had to play as other certain characters.
You were locked into certain roles because that was winning. That was just like you couldn't do anything to stop it. So everybody was just mirror matching each other, and it just all just like safe plays. And thing is, like, Excelsior is a great team. They're great, but they're so boring to watch because they just play safe so much.
They play to win.
Yeah.
Play to win the game. They don't play for fun.
Yeah. So the other thing, to just piggyback on what Corey's saying. So what we're talking about is like this year, it's been what they call GOATs or greatest of all time because somebody figured out
there's a team called GOATs that that popularized the
strategy.
The strategy, and so it started calling GOATs. And I think even the commenters didn't want to use GOATs because they didn't want to promote the team, and so they kept calling it like 3-3s and stuff. But
so
it's GOATs.
It's GOATs, but what they'll say officially in the league is 3-3. What that refers to is three supports. They're like DPS. Fuck those characters. What we're gonna do is we get 3 tanks, which are high health, high defense characters, and we run 3 supports to heal them because they have such large health pools. They're not going to be bursted down. So any DPS character in the game, even the highest ones like Genji and Tracer, have no chance.
The ones that are designed to take tanks out can't do their job.
Can't do their job because the healing is just too good. And it's been unfortunate because Blizzard has tried to do certain things to nerf healers and tanks to reduce that, but nothing has been able to stick to the point where everybody is primarily running the same 6 characters with maybe one variation depending on if you swapped out Winston for Reinhardt depending on the map.
Right.
Because
then sometimes they'll counterpick they'll run a Sombra just to see what people have. Like, oh, he's got a Reinhardt, so we'll pick this other meta thing.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's between 2. It's not like, oh, we gotta switch up this whole thing. It's like either Reinhardt or Winston. It's like
and it's been very boring to watch too because even as a spectator, like Corey was saying, you live for the moments where it's like, holy shit, that was an awesome play. Like, one of my most memorable moments of season 1 is when Carpe, I think their fusion was against Boston on the Shanghai map, and they were down a couple members, and Carpe is like, no, this is winnable. It proceeds to headshot like 3 people in a row, like zooms in, like, with a latch, and like kills the 4th person, and they just proceed to win the match based off that one thing. And it's just like such an epic moment. And something like that is just not possible in this meta because Widow can't, even with headshot, take out the tanks because they're just such high health pools.
Okay.
So it's just very boring to watch. And like the other thing is too is like it's basically everybody farms up their ult, and like just imagine this team A and team B, like they're just kind of like trading blows and whatnot until they get their ults charged, and they just go like this, and they just like bash into each other, and it's just kind of like, well, who's gonna win? Like who didn't see like the angle on the Diva bomb, or who was able to eat the Zarya ult? Like that's what decides the outcome of that battle. And it's just like, so it's like farm for 2 minutes and then like 30 seconds of like, oh, ults are going off. And the thing that killed me personally was like it's literally a counter where it's like you hear the enemy team Brigitte go, activate her ult, your team activates the Brigitte ult. It's just like it's so cliche and predictable.
Everyone's waiting for each other to do it too. So it's like,
oh jeez,
like just going back and forth. Like, who's going first? Who's going first?
Who's gonna make? It's a game of chicken. Like, who's gonna make a?
Yeah, and it's like eventually someone does it, and then the other team does it, and it's like, oh well, that's predictable. Yeah, and like you're saying, like last year, like when Pine came out, he was a huge, like he made a name for himself because like he nobody really knew Pine at all, and then he came out and was just like owning people as Widowmaker and Tracer. It was just like he just came in and like destroyed people, and it was like these awesome like holy shit moments, and you just don't have that with goats. And so now the big thing is like they're gonna lock it to 2-2-2. So
yeah,
you have to have two. You can't go to 3 tanks essentially and 3 healers.
That's the best change I can hear. I mean, what this sounds like, you have to have some DPS mixed in, and it's stupid. I mean, they need to change.
I think it's a good thing because like initially Overwatch originally was like you could pick 6.
Yeah, I remember Mike. You were a big advocate. And I was like, I don't know about that, but it wound up being a really good change.
Yeah, and that was a great thing. Like having it locked to like single characters was a great idea. And here, not that I think you want to limit people's strategies, but at the same time, if you want this thing to succeed, you want it to be exciting to watch. You want to see people playing at their highest level. You don't want to see people playing the same strategy because it's the only way you're going to win.
No,
and that's why there's rules. Like there are rules in place in sports because you want to see people at the highest level that they can.
And I do think it's better that they change the rules for the pros rather than just nerf or buff characters to adjust to what the pros are doing, which is one of my issues a little bit back when I was playing Overwatch, because it's almost like, as if like a 10-foot basket would get raised or lower just because people in the NBA are dunking too much, while meanwhile everyone else has to like jump up and throw a layup. Now I have to like score on a 12-foot basket because Vince Carter's dunking too much.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that I'm glad now that they're adding. I think they're changing things in the right place because it's a totally different game for like people just playing it for fun and the pros. And I felt like in the past maybe too much of what the pros did affected what the balances changes were for everyone.
And like the one thing is because the other competitive game I watch a lot is League of Legends, but League of Legends has such a diverse character pool that they can do something where like they outright just ban characters that like before like you even play the game, like it's champion select screen, both teams can see like what each other are banning and picking. So it's like if like Faker is an amazing like Rise player, and that's a character that got nerfed / buffed depending on how good this particular player was doing, where they're like, wow, he's on like literally there was a year where he was like, if you let this guy have Rise, he would win like 99 out of 100. Yeah, but like by himself, he would solo carry the entire game. They're like, well, we got to nerf this character. So if you're a fan of that character, it's like, well, fuck, like this character's just going to be shit this year because Faker got him nerfed and stuff like that. And it's just like really unfair because if you're just an average person, and again, like not even above average, like you talk about like the top 1% of players, probably even less than that. It's like less than 1% of players causing balance issues for the entire world. It's like that's really weird. So
that's tough. Yeah. So
it's exciting. I'm excited to see the change.
Yeah. Me too, because my Fusion boys have a chance now because we've been really whiff-waffy this stage because unfortunately, the Fusion team was piggybacked off of EQO and Carpe because they're like a really good DPS duo. And this year they've been forced into off roles as tank and support where it's like, I want to see headshots, I want to see amazing fire plays, like that kind of stuff, not, them shielding and bubbling and all that shit. I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And one last bit I want to talk. I didn't put it on there, but Summer Games Done Quick ended this past weekend. Incredible finale. Chrono Trigger 100% in like less than 6 hours. But they raised $3 million first time ever, which is a huge deal. Really crazy. I would recommend. There's some videos that are just awesome. I was talking to Corey about it last week. These 3 people did Borderlands 2 all quests within like 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was, which is pretty ridiculous.
There is 248.
Oh yeah, 248. There's an incredible Wii Punch Out blindfold run, where like the guy just played the entire game blindfolded, and you're just like, how the fuck do you do that? And it's funny because like honestly, the thing he struggled with most was like the menus, because like in that like he's using like the pointer, he's like, I can't feel if that was 2 or 3, and like the audience is like, it was 3, press A, and he's like, what? It was like clicking the wrong thing. It's like,
oh jeez, wow. Oh, that's amazing though, $3 million. So, all right, I think that's going to wrap up the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast@allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, All You Can Geek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next week.